Pick your mans up.
And just because people used to come through shooting at us every day. And this block, words can't even explain, man. Can't even explain.
Yeah, man.
Little School Valley, 05 way on money.
Young Money, man. They in the building.
600 boy, LA, man. LA Capo, man. Get it to him, man. OC2 boys, man. Team
Number 9, man. Number 9, the shooter, you hear me?
Hey, Ricky, little bitch. Yeah. Fuck is wrong with you? Hey, I am Brick Squad. Brick Squad, boy. Fuck is you talking about, boy?
You have to be willing to die or go to jail for 100 years if that's the lane that you're stepping in. You have to understand that whether you 15, 16, you got to think like a man. You know what I'm saying?
So don't be in it. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old are you?
300.
The Story of NLMB, Part 2. Just 3 days after Jordan's murder, the war swung back the other way. Black Mob, and specifically ShootaShellz, went looking for payback, not just for Jordan and Rayvon, but especially for Hakeem. They were targeting the man rumored to have taken Hakeem's life, Pistol P from No Limit. Street rumors say ShootaShellz, Shotty Hit, and another Black Mob member named AWOL were out sliding in a green vehicle, actively hunting for revenge after Jordan's death. Around 6:50 p.m., they spotted Pistol P on the 2400 block of East 79th Street. They slammed on the brakes, and AWOL and ShootaShellz allegedly hopped out with guns drawn. Seeing them jump out of the car, Pistol P immediately tried to run for his life. As he sprinted away, they shot him in the back. Pistol P managed to make it around the corner onto the 7900 block of South Phillips Avenue before collapsing. Pistol P, whose real name was Rayford Brown, was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he was tragically pronounced dead. Just 25 days later, Black Mob scored on NLMB once again, with ShootaShellz heavily rumored to be the shooter behind the hit, marking his third alleged body that summer. ShootaShellz, alongside Shotty Hit and SGH, put relentless pressure on NLMB, which is a major reason why No Limit held such deep hatred for him. That trio would literally ride through and shoot up No Limit's blocks on a near-daily basis. At the time, sets like Pocket Town, MTG039, Lakeside, and KTS were doing the exact same thing. No Limit was taking hits from virtually every angle across Terrortown, but because their roster was so deep, they managed to hold their ground and outlast most of their ops. It fits right into what Lil Bibby described in his intro, recalling how people used to come through trying to tear their block up every single day. On July 29, 2013, ShootaShellz and Shotty Hit were allegedly back out hunting for rivals around the perimeter of Terrortown. They made their way towards 79th Street and Oglesby Avenue, a neutral stretch not far from No Limit's core block. There, they spotted Richie Rich from No Limit. ShootaShellz allegedly stepped out from an alley and opened fire, hitting Richie Rich multiple times in the head and neck before fleeing the scene with Shotty Hit. Richie was rushed to South Shore Hospital in critical condition, where he was tragically pronounced dead. Richie Rich, whose real name was Richard Pierce, was an older 30-year-old member. Street sources say he was far from a bystander. Much like Alamo before him, he was deeply plugged into the set and spent time teaching the younger generation how to hustle and move on the block. During that bloody summer of 2013, No Limit took heavy losses back-to-back, losing C-Mo, Tracy, Pistol P, and Richie Rich. Then, just under 2 weeks after Richie's death, they lost a fifth member in 46 days, Kobe. On August 10, 2013, around 4:02 a.m., 19-year-old Jacoby Kobe Heron was gunned down outside the same 79th Street McDonald's where the viral No Lackin' 3 incident happened. Just minutes earlier, Kobe had been shooting dice with G Herbo, Cairo, and other NLMB members. He turned down a ride home, opting to walk instead. Only 100 meters away, a car carrying ShootaShellz and AWOL from Black Mob pulled up. Von allegedly opened fire first, hitting Kobe, before Posto hopped out and shot him in the head as he lay on the ground. Herbo, Cairo, and the crew sprinted toward the gunfire with weapons drawn, but the car had already sped off. Kobe was deeply loved across No Limit and close with Herbo, Bibby, Capo, Cairo, Mally, and Mineski. Like Rock, he became an iconic figure in NLMB culture after his death. G Herbo named his classic mixtape Ballin' Like I'm Kobe after him and detailed that night on Sacrifices. It was like 4 a.m. on the morning of August 10th. We was on the block shooting dice, yeah, that's when Kobe went. Kobe was also shot in 2008, by Lakeside, but managed to survive. Just 3 days later, No Limit scored on Black Mob for the second time that year, with Mad Maxx and DBK Juvie allegedly behind the trigger. 34-year-old Eric, believed by many to be a Black Mob member, was standing in a South Shore parking lot on the 7400 block of South Colfax Avenue when a light-colored SUV rolled past. A shooter in the passenger seat opened fire, hitting Eric with multiple rounds. He was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where he was tragically pronounced dead at 10:20 a.m. Shell casings littered the pavement along Colfax as police taped off the area. However, there's plenty of debate surrounding Eric's actual street involvement. A small crowd watched the investigation unfold from across East 75th Street. One local man who chose to remain anonymous mentioned he recognized Eric from around the neighborhood, insisting he was not in any gang. He just had a baby. A woman nearby noted how intense the summer had been, saying, "It had slowed down for a while. You gotta be careful around here." By 2014, both sides were continuing to trade losses. Black Mob, and specifically ShootaShellz, lost his older brother, King Scoops, in May 2014, allegedly killed by Yogi from ABK. Later that year in November, No Limit lost Playboy. Around that same time, Merch Money and What M Up allegedly got Lil Jermaine from Lakeside. To keep things in perspective, there's an endless amount of violence happening every year that goes under the radar, including lesser-known members who don't get praised on social media like others. Just to name a few, Lakeside took G Mills from No Limit in 2016, Cairo allegedly caught Ronald from No Limit 087 back in 2012, and No Limit also lost Gucci and Malik. If every single loss were covered, this breakdown would be over 5 hours long. So we're focusing on the main turning points. One specific target No Limit had been trying to catch since 2012 was KTS Vaughn, but he kept slipping away. In mid-2014, right after Vaughn got released from a brief jail stint, Crazy James from No Limit came extremely close to taking him out for good. Crazy James and 2 other No Limit members spotted Vaughn and another guy walking down the sidewalk. They pulled up alongside them, and Crazy James hopped out firing. As Vaughn and his companion turned to run, Vaughn took a bullet straight to the chest. James jumped back in the car, and they sped off into the neighborhood. Vaughn was hospitalized for several weeks and underwent surgery, ultimately surviving a gunshot wound that hit dangerously close to his heart. In October 2014, Mad Maxx, Capo, Doo-Wop, and Mineski caught another hit on their rivals by allegedly killing T-Bone from Black Mob. Earlier that same day, T-Bone had been out sliding and shooting at No Limit Money Mafia, specifically targeting a member named Money Mel. Later that afternoon, T-Bone was shot and killed in retaliation, allegedly by NLMB's close allies, NLMB. NLMB and NLMB are essentially tied together as the same faction. T-Bone has since been dissed and mocked multiple times by G Herbo in his music, with street rumors even suggesting Herbo was present on the hit himself. Moving into 2015, the violence picked up heavily, especially when it came to Mad Maxx. Just 6 days into the new year, No Limit, with Maxx rumored to be leading the charge, allegedly struck MTG039 in a double homicide, a hit that would directly set off the tragic events leading to Capo's death later that summer. It was a freezing, snow-covered day on January 6, 2015. According to police, a group of young guys walked into a convenience store on the 2200 block of East 79th Street. Right after they walked out, a shooter emerged from a nearby alley and opened fire, leaving behind a gruesome scene. An 18-year-old was hit in the head, a 19-year-old was struck in the face, and a 13-year-old boy was shot in both legs. Both older teens were pronounced dead, while the 13-year-old survived after being rushed to the hospital. The victims were identified as Lil C, 18, and Joe Blow, 19, both allegedly affiliated with MTG, though many people in the neighborhood claimed they were completely innocent bystanders. For years, street rumors pointed to Mally and Merch Money as the shooters. However, police later officially listed Mad Maxx as the main suspect in the double murder. While Mally and Merch Moolah may have been present, sources point to Maxx as the sole shooter who stepped out of that alley. Just 6 months later, No Limit would be involved in taking down one of their biggest hops, KTS Vaughn. On June 23, 2015, KTS lost one of its biggest and most infamous figures, KTS Vaughn. Because Von was so heavily active in the streets, multiple rival sets immediately tried to claim credit for his death, leading to 3 distinct theories about who actually pulled the trigger. The shooting happened on the 7500 block of South Ellis Avenue around 2:05 p.m. Von was walking alone, reportedly heavily under the influence of drugs at the time. An SUV spotted him, and 2 shooters hopped out, firing 23 times into his body and head to make sure he didn't make it off that block. The most prominent theory points straight to No Limit. Street rumors say Choppa, Jock, Mally, and Mad Maxx were out op shopping when they caught Von slipping, with Mally and Maxx allegedly jumping out of the SUV to stand over him. Following the hit, NLMB relentlessly mocked Von online and in their music. Mad Maxx started calling himself the Smoker on Instagram, taking Von's exact nickname. Choppa even dropped videos from that night, revealing that he, Jock, Mally, and Maxx went into hiding at a safe house for a month on high alert. The disrespect spread across the city. 600 Breezy and EBK Juvie joked about making a Don't Get Smoked sequel, while 051 Young Money showed zero sympathy due to Von's past disses toward their dead homies. Maxx stayed relatively quiet but posted a cryptic picture of a bloody-faced lion 2 days later, followed by a photo with Mally captioned Splash Brothers. Despite No Limit pushing the narrative so heavily, another theory points to the Circuit City gangsters as the ones who caught Von. However, KTS members themselves publicly warned Circuit not to claim the hit. Even with KTS denying Circuit's involvement, Pocket Town wasn't taking chances and slid on Circuit territory in the days following Von's murder, resulting in the death of Lil Eric. Finally, a third theory claims EBC actually backdoored Von. Interestingly, details that eventually surfaced from the police reports align closely with this possibility, suggesting someone close to him might have set up his exact location before that SUV ever pulled up. Taking out KTS Von may have eliminated one of No Limit's most dangerous ops, but the fallout was immediate and brutal. The moment word got out, both Lakeside and Pocket Town were out riding deep through Terror Town, hunting for payback. At the very top of their hit list was Mad Maxx. No Limit took out Lakeside and KTS's main threat, so they were determined to take No Limit's top killer in return. Von's death set off a chaotic, bloody domino effect across the South Side. Over the next stretch, No Limit would pay a steep price, ultimately losing multiple key members, and eventually, their most feared shooter, in the deadly crossfire that followed. In July 2015, Front Street and NLMB took another heavy loss when GBE Capo was gunned down at 22 years old. Repping GBE, NLMB, and Lamron, Capo was a rising figure respected across multiple sets. His murder didn't stem from traditional South Side rivalries, but rather East Side retaliation against NLMB over the earlier deaths of B.O., Lil C, and Lil Joe. Word in the streets claimed Capo had mocked B.O. right before his death, though no online proof ever surfaced. Ironically, G Herbo had been walking with Capo earlier that same day. On July 11th, around 1:40 p.m., Capo was standing outside on the 7700 block of South Kingston Avenue when a red Toyota Avalon pulled up and shots rang out, striking him in the back and hip. He collapsed on the sidewalk as bystanders desperately tried to keep him alive, a tragic scene recorded in a graphic video that quickly went viral online. The tragedy compounded minutes later during the police pursuit. The getaway driver, Antoine Red Dot Watkins, panicked and sped off at speeds over 60 miles per hour. As he fled, he lost control near 63rd and Ellis, jumping the curb and striking 13-month-old Dylan Harris in his stroller. Watkins was convicted of reckless homicide for Dylan's death, serving under 5 years before his release on parole. The two passengers in the vehicle were never officially charged since police were unable to recover the murder weapon. Street rumors have long pointed to Quag from MTG and Lil Mos from Ebay/Jacktown as the shooters. Lil Mos was eventually arrested for the hit but beat the case. Today, Red Dot is out of prison and reportedly laying low out of state to avoid retaliation from NLMB. In 2016, the younger generation tied to NLMB and its close allies took two heavy back-to-back losses. In May 2016, 15-year-old Darrow from Muskegon Boys was killed in Englewood near Toonshieville. The exact set behind it remains unknown, though his family insisted he was targeted simply because shooters assumed he was involved in street activity. Darrow was exceptionally close with Emo from Roblox, and his death led to the creation of Darrow Gang in his honor. Only 2 months later in July, No Limit 079 lost 15-year-old Lil Gage. Gage was out with his 16-year-old brother, Munchie from NLMB, when a red minivan pulled up and opened fire. Gage was struck in the head and killed on the scene, while Munchie was hit in the leg. A limping Munchie ran from the block screaming, "They shot my brother." The getaway driver even paused at a red light nearby to avoid tripping traffic cameras before making a left turn and speeding off. Street rumors revealed Gage and Munchie were out trying to hit a lick for quick cash 3 days before Gage's 16th birthday. The move went terribly wrong, and Lil Space from THF 46 ended up pulling the trigger. For a long time, the killer's identity remained hidden, and No Limit maintains complete silence on the details. This hush-hush response stems directly from THF's ties to No Limit. Cairo from No Limit comes from the low end and shares direct family ties with THF members like Shorty Rome, Lil Derek, Gino, and Lil T. Because of these deep family connections, the situation was handled and squashed behind closed doors, with both sides agreeing that both Gage and the shooter were in the wrong.
I'm Willie Richardson. I do. My dear grandma do. Just ask my homie. Bro, get y'all police ass on them. DJ, I got way more than that. Get y'all lame ass on. Darrow attempts, I got way more than 20. Get y'all snitch ass on. Y'all just want me to say some shit. Get y'all lame ass on. I want to be hanging around for them. Give me so much respect that they know what I do. I made a lot of niggas hurt. Darrow. I made one of their main people. Blew him, main person. My grandma grade. They main homies hurt because of me. I fucking playing me. I ain't bringing her name. Get your goofy ass on. DJ, I got way more than that, bro. I'm finna block you off my leg, yo. Police shit. I don't even supposed to be talking about that shit, bro. Watch out with all that lame ass shit, bro. On DJ, I got way more than that. Watch out. DJ, I've been doing this since I was 16. I'm willing. Every hood got the best for me. Death Row, Pocket Tag.
In addition to Darrow and Lil Gage, another close friend, Lil Aaron from No Limit, was shot and killed in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. He was killed by a 14-year-old named Robert, also known as Nero, who ended up with 5 years of probation and a clean record as an adult. Nero was from Mob, a set at odds with NLMB, which Aaron also claimed. This generation, including Lil Gage, Reese Money, Dolph, Shdog, Kilo, Lil Hot, Scooter, and Choppa, put in a heavy amount of work between 2015 and 2019. However, that entire circle has essentially been fractured or wiped out today. Choppa and Reese Money are both behind bars facing murder charges while awaiting trial. Kilo is locked up for a robbery and the attempted murder of a retired police officer. Scooter, Dolph, Shdog and Solo have all passed away. Lil Hot is currently incarcerated for a shooting incident, facing charges tied to his prior gun offense in 2017. Choppa, who was allegedly involved in the 2015 killing of KTS Vaughn alongside Mally and Mad Maxx, was recently sentenced to 60 years in prison. His conviction stems from the April 6, 2017 murder of 28-year-old store clerk Hassaniel Allen on the 2300 block of East 83rd Street. Security footage captured Choppa asking Allen to share a blunt he was smoking. When Allen refused, Choppa stepped forward, turned around, and shot him in the head. Capo was extremely close with Lil Gage, Mally, and Mad Maxx. Meanwhile, Reese Money is currently charged with the July 2020 murder of PT from the Low End and the attempted murder of another individual in Black Mob territory. Reese Money maintains tight ties with Drench gang members like Faru and Bello, who were close right-hand partners to G Red from No Limit before his death in 2018. "2016 stood out as one of the most brutal years in recent memory for NLMB. Beyond the losses of Daro and Lil Gage, No Limit dropped 3 more members before the year was out: Solo, G Mills, and Lil Savage. Just 2 months after Lil Gage was killed, 17-year-old Lil Savage from NLMB was gunned down. Savage was standing outside on the block in Ridgeland Boys territory when 2 guys walked up on foot and shot him in the back. He was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Adding to the tragedy, Lil Savage's brother, Midnight from DFG, had been killed just 2 months prior, allegedly shot by PBG Savage Dog in a friendly fire accident while sliding on the 4s out west. Street word points to MTG079 as the set behind Lil Savage's murder. MTG shares a tight alliance with RGB, Ridgeland Boys Gangsters, as both claim Drama World. Word on the block is that RGB set the play by giving up Savage's location, allowing MTG to execute the hit. However, No Limit essentially treats RGB and MTG as the same entity, making the line between who called the drop and who pulled the trigger mostly non-existent to them. Rumors quickly circulated that NLMB retaliated mere days later by taking out WAP from MTG, with street gossip tying No Limit wet M up and merch money to the hit. However, there is plenty of skepticism around that narrative. WAP's body was eventually discovered in the Bobian Woods Forest Preserve on the 13,200 block of South Doty Avenue, shot and severely burned, which is roughly a 20-minute drive out of No Limit's home turf. While street rumors travel fast, the idea of No Limit driving an op that far out, dumping him, and torching the scene doesn't fully align with their typical pattern, making that rumor one to take with a heavy grain of salt. By December 2016, No Limit took 2 more devastating losses in a matter of days: Solo and G Mills. On December 22nd, 21-year-old Solo was standing on a sidewalk in No Limit territory alongside a 20-year-old associate when a white SUV rolled down the block. Someone inside swung open the rear door and opened fire. Solo was shot in the head and tragically pronounced dead at the hospital, while the younger man was hit in the foot and survived. Solo was known as a major earner and heavy trapper for the set. Rumors point to MTG079 as the ones behind the hit, carrying it out as long-awaited payback for the January 2015 double murder of Lil C and Joe Blow, hits allegedly executed by Mad Max and Mally. Just 3 days later, on Christmas Day, 25-year-old G Mills was shot and killed on No Limit turf. A respected figure from the older generation, Mills was struck multiple times in the head, back, and leg, passing away shortly after arriving at the hospital. While relatively low profile to outsiders, he held deep respect across the set and was heavily honored by members across different generations. The set behind his murder remains officially unconfirmed, though street rumors suggest KTS and Pocket Town orchestrated the hit as continued retaliation for the death of KTS Vaughn. Like many key NLMB figures, including Kobe, Diesel, G Pharaoh, Lil Ro, Twino, Scooter, and Lil Loss, both Solo and G Mills originally hailed from Muskegon boys, with Mills having particularly tight ties to G Johnny. Of these losses, the death of Lil Gage arguably hit NLMB the hardest. He served as a bridge between the older generation and the younger crowd coming up, the core group that eventually formed Drench Gang. Making the tragedy even heavier, he was killed just 3 days before his 16th birthday. In the wake of his murder, the younger generation created Gage Way in his honor, a faction name they still claim with pride today. Figures like Varu, Zysky, Twan, Twino, Muwop, KD, and Lil Spaz were all tight with Gage and rep Gage Way heavy. Before his death, they put in work together on the block, running up licks and executing robberies. While Gage wasn't known as a killer in the streets, he was certainly active and wasn't afraid to squeeze the trigger at ops. Beyond his deep roots on 79th, Lil Gage also maintained close personal ties with members from Evans Mob, a set deeply entrenched in their own high-stakes war with KTS. Now heading into 2017, No Limit suffered another massive blow early in the year with the loss of one of its older, highly respected leaders, Big Wet. On March 29th, Big Wet was shot and tragically succumbed to his injuries the following day. Street rumors have long pointed toward ShootaShellz and Trap Mo from Black Mob as the shooters responsible. This hit directly triggered the infamous quadruple homicide on March 30th. A shooting that led to the high-profile arrest of Big Wet's son, Wet M Up, whom police initially pinned as the sole gunman out for revenge. However, the official narrative has drawn heavy skepticism over the years. Given the massive media coverage, public pressure, and police resources poured into such a high-profile massacre, it seems highly unlikely authorities would simply let a primary suspect walk if the case against him was solid. Despite initial witness statements and a clear motive, all charges against Lil Wet were completely dropped and he was released, strongly indicating he provided an ironclad alibi that stood up under intense police scrutiny. On top of that, evidence suggested the 4 victims in the store hit had no actual involvement in Big Wet's murder, making a crash out of that scale questionable. Even rival figures like Lil Don from Pocket Town later mocked Lil Wet in his music, dissing him for taking credit for a 4-body hit he allegedly didn't execute. While names like Mad Maxx and Reese Money have been floated by street gossip as potential actors in the Retaliation, that remains pure speculation. Regardless of who pulled the trigger, Big Wet's death remains a sensitive, heavily mocked topic among ops. Trap Mo from Black Mob even poked at the sore spot on an Instagram story, writing, "I hear they drenching people, treat that dude like his daddy."
Survivor's remorse, right? I'm here with No Limit, wet 'em up. You hear me?
Yeah,
Nah, the name speaks for itself. Drench.
Quadruple kid, man.
Huh? Yeah. Drip gang?
Drench
gang.
Drench gang.
Oh, yeah, I know what that means. Yeah. Leave your niggas drenched, yeah.
I gotta go to this video.
Yeah, your niggas get drenched with no rain, yeah.
In July 2017, NLMB finally managed to get their biggest op out of the way. The op who had single-handedly terrorized them for years and killed 4 of their members. Of course, I'm talking about ShootaShellz from Black Mob. ShootaShellz was about to get into his car in Auburn Gresham when 3 gunmen exited a white Nissan Altima and opened fire. According to police records, Mad Maxx, Mally, and Mineski from NLMB executed the hit. The trio ran up and shot ShootaShellz repeatedly. As he collapsed, they stood over him and shot him in the head at point-blank range between 15 to 18 times. The graphic aftermath left half of his head torn away, and police later recovered 43 shell casings from the scene. The official autopsy noted that the sheer number of gunshot wounds made them impossible to fully log. The execution was eventually picked up as part of a broader federal investigation into the ongoing war between Black Mob and No Limit. However, direct charges were never filed before key players were removed from the street. Mad Maxx was killed in 2018. Hellrell from Lakeside was arrested, briefly released, and eventually convicted of manslaughter for Max's murder, staying in and out of the system ever since. Mally was later handed a life sentence, putting him behind bars permanently. Following Max's death and Mally's life sentence, the case effectively went cold, leaving Mineski as the sole living gunman named in those initial reports who is still free today. Later in July 2017, G-Slim from No Limit was murdered by Kill-A-Spook from Pocket Town, as previously covered. Moving into September and October, Lakeside took 2 fast losses with the deaths of Lil Savage and J Will. In September, 14-year-old Lil Savage from Lakeside was shot and killed while standing on a sidewalk in the 8000 block of South Manistee, just a few blocks from his home. The set or shooter behind his death remains unknown, and he hasn't been publicly dissed or mocked by No Limit or any other opposing sets. In October, 24-year-old J Will from Lakeside was gunned down in Wiz City territory. An unknown gunman ran up on him and opened fire, striking him in the head. Given the territorial beefs in that area, sets like Evans Mob or Drill City, who both actively war with Lakeside and KTS, are often speculated as possibilities, though that remains purely unconfirmed. While these specific hits don't directly drive the main storyline, they highlight the broader web of history, rivalries, and casualties piling up across these neighborhoods over time. By November 2017, Lakeside lost a third member when Ty died after crashing a stolen vehicle during a high-speed police pursuit. By 2018, the street dynamics were taking a heavy personal toll on the block, bringing major losses for No Limit and its younger generation. On January 20th, just 9 days into the new year, No Limit lost to Marcus Ely, better known as Ace. Ace was standing outside a liquor store on the 2900 block of East 79th Street, a notorious strip in Terror Town known for repeated fatal shootings. Suddenly, a shooter wearing a camouflage jacket over a black hoodie walked out of the store and shot Ace point blank in the head before fleeing north on Escanaba. That escape route led toward either Death Row Territory or Lakeside. While the killer's exact set remains officially unconfirmed, street context points heavily toward Lakeside, KTS, or Pocket Town. The feud with Death Row had not fully escalated at that point, making their involvement highly improbable compared to No Limit's primary ops at the time. Beyond who pulled the trigger, Ace's death hit the entire set and his family hard. Around the time of his January 30th funeral, family members and young associates voiced their grief and anger across social media, expressing deep exhaustion with constant funerals and warning that the pain of loss wouldn't stay one-sided for long. A couple of weeks later, No Limit took their second loss of the year with the death of Adolphus Ford, better known as Dolph. He was a key NLMB member from that active generation that put in major work on the block between 2015 and 2019. Dolph was walking in the 8400 block of South Brandon, territory belonging to Bush Kings, who were allied with No Limit 083, a set in direct conflict with NLMB. A vehicle rolled past and an unknown shooter opened fire, striking Dolph multiple times across his body before he was rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead. Two primary theories surround his murder. The first theory points to Lakeside, specifically naming Booman as the shooter, which would mean Lakeside somehow got the drop on his location since Dolph lived just a few blocks away. The second theory suggests Dolph was killed by unaffiliated individuals he got into an altercation with earlier that day, allegedly after trying to buy lean and rob them. Given Dolph's established reputation as an active robber, this second narrative holds significant weight in street discussions. Adding credence to that idea, Killade from NLMB, who was Dolph's right-hand man, publicly addressed the situation on Facebook, explicitly stating that Dolph was not killed by any of their known ops and that any rivals mocking his death were simply clout chasing over a hit they had no part in executing. Just like with the murder of Ace, the loss of Dolph hit extremely hard, but 4 months later another devastating hit struck even closer to home with the murder of Lil P.Pierre Williams, who was the same age and part of the same immediate circle, was walking in the 6900 block of Southeast End Avenue when someone inside a passing beige-colored van opened fire. He was struck in the groin and rushed to Cummer Children's Hospital, where he tragically passed away. Street sources heavily point to Jackboy Lil Don from Paxtown as the one responsible. While that claim catches many off guard, insider accounts recall how Lil Don openly bragged about taking him down in street conversations with other members following the shooting. A key piece of context leading up to the hit is that Lil Don's vehicle had been shot up while he was driving just a month prior. While the shooters who targeted his car remain unconfirmed, local consensus suggests Small Town was behind it, leading Lil Don to slide through the area shortly after and catch the first person he spotted, which happened to be Lil P, who was tied to Maltown. The location of the shooting on the 6900 block of Southeast End Avenue sits right in the heart of Maltown territory, barely a block from where Lil P actually lived. Maltown and large sections of the East End maintain friendly ties with No Limit. This includes Moose Block, despite them repping Lil Pez City to honor Lil Pez from Pocket Town, who was killed by Circuit City gangsters back in March 2008. That dynamic leaves many wondering how these relationships coexist, especially given that Pocket Town and No Limit are bitter, mortal enemies. However, deep-rooted neighborhood history and inter-set alliances explain exactly why these complex bridge connections between the East End and NLMB exist. Lil P was truly a beloved figure across the block, though known for having a short fuse. He held deep connections with the entire rising generation of No Limit, maintaining especially close bonds with Vru, Lil Ro, Twino, Stit, and Lil Loss. Following his death, it was these exact younger associates who established Lilpville to honor his memory, a tribute name they actively carry to this day. However, the losses for No Limit continue to pile up. Just a single week after Lil P was gunned down, Mad Maxx was shot on the block. He survived in critical condition for exactly 1 month before officially being pronounced dead. While hospitalized and under heavily medicated conditions, police interrogated Maxx, leading to him naming Hellrail from Lakeside as the shooter, a move that eventually resulted in Hellrail's arrest and subsequent conviction for manslaughter. Despite that official legal outcome, widespread street consensus questions whether Hellrail actually pulled the trigger, as figures on both sides of the war have expressed doubt. During an Instagram livestream, Hellrail recalled a stint in Cook County Jail shortly after the arrest where he confronted No Limit members about his innocence, claiming they directly told him, "We know you didn't do it." Street rumors have long pointed toward Michi from Black Mob as the actual gunman who took Maxx down, with Hellrail merely present at the scene. If true, the hit served as direct retaliation for the execution of ShootaShellz. Mad Maxx was widely viewed as a dominant force for No Limit between 2012 and 2018, and his death sent massive shockwaves through both the veteran leaders and the incoming shorties. For the younger crew, losing Maxx on top of Lil Gage and Lil P turned the street war personal, creating a heavy sense of obligation to pick up where they left off and put in work in their names. Now we come to No Limit's fifth and final loss of the year. G-Red from NLMB, cousin of Veru from Drench Gang, Lil Gage and both J-Dots from NLMB. G-Red, whose real name was Terrence Brooks, was walking in the 2400 block of East 75th Street when he was suddenly shot multiple times by an unknown offender. G-Red was later found by authorities with a gunshot wound to the head and right shoulder and sadly pronounced dead at the hospital 20 minutes later. There is a lot that is interesting and unclear about this murder. Firstly, G-Red was killed in Black Mob territory, which is also where he resided. Secondly, it has long been rumored that it was Jaro City who killed G-Red as an act of revenge for Archie from Jaro City, who is rumored to have been killed by NLMB in late December 2014. For those of you who don't know, Archie was a member of Jaro City who was shot and killed in MTG territory in 2014. Archie was in an Audi SUV together with Kobe from Jaro City when a tire suddenly blew. They therefore drove to the nearest tire shop to get it fixed. The reason why they were in MTG territory is because that's where Kobe resided. While inside the gates of the parking lot belonging to the tire shop, two offenders, dressed in black from top to bottom and wearing gloves, ran up and started shooting. Archie was hit in the back and head and fell face down towards the ground. Kobe was shot in the leg but luckily managed to run away and take cover from the flying bullets. The ones responsible for this is rumored to be NLMB. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe, and may God bless you all. Let me know what you want to see next.